Hi everyone. Okay, so we are going to read a story today, and that story is called A Different Pond. And there's something kind of special on this cover that isn't on every book. Let's see if anybody can notice what that special thing is. Yeah, Sarah. You see a medal, yeah. So we have a special medal in this book, and this is called the Caldecott Honor. And this is a special medal that's awarded to illustrators. So as you can see, even just from the cover, the illustrations are so beautiful in this story. And so I want you all to look at how beautiful they are as we go through this, okay? All right, let's start. Let's dive right in. So today we are reading A Different Pond, and it's written by Bao Fee and illustrated by T. Bowie. Let's see what it's about. All right. Dad wakes me quietly so Mom can keep sleeping. It will be hours before the sun comes up. In the kitchen, the bare bulb is burning. Dad has been up for a while, making sandwiches and packing the car. Can I help? I ask. Sure, my dad whispers and hands me the tackle box. How early in the morning do we think this is? Paul. Oh, 5 a.m., that's a great guess. And how do we know it's early? I know it tells us, but is there any clues in the pictures? Yeah, it's still dark outside, right? So the sun hasn't even come up yet. So that just shows you how early it really is. Okay, the street lights look brighter and the roads aren't so busy before the sun comes up. Dad turns on the heater and tells me stories. A kid at my school said my dad's English sounds like a thick, dirty river. But to me, his English sounds like gentle rain. Sounds pretty peaceful, huh? We stop at the bait store on Lake Street. It always seems to be open. You're here early today, the bait man says. I got a second job, my dad explains. I have to work this morning. On a Saturday? The bait man asks. My dad nods. I feel the bag of minnows move. They swim like silver arrows in my hands. Oh, let's look at that picture. Who can tell me what minnows are? Does anybody know? Minnows. And if we're not familiar with that word, we can always look at the picture and try and guess from that, make an educated guess. Nate. Minnows are fish. So fish, as I remember, was on a special list we made this week. So remember, this week we've been talking about organisms. And a couple days ago we made a big list and I had you guys name every organism you could think of, and I'm pretty sure fish was on our list. So interesting. I think maybe fish is going to play an important role in this story. Let's see what happens next though. Okay, it's still dark when we get to the pond. We park the car and climb over the divider between the road and the trees. Ooh, I see a little sign right here. It's a little hidden. Should we read it? No trespassing. Keep out. Are they breaking the rules a little bit maybe? All right, my dad holds my hand and walks ahead through the tangle and scrub. Step where I step, he says. I'm thinking about what Dad told the bait man. If you got another job, why do we still have to fish for food? I ask. Everything in America costs a lot of money, he explains. I feel calluses on his hand when he squeezes mine. Can we all hold up our hands? I want us to feel our fingers. Do we have any calluses? Does anybody have any? Now, one thing I know about this class is that we have all been writing a lot. We have been practicing our writing, huh? And so I have a sneaky suspicion that if you put your hand right here where your writing finger is, where the pencil rubs against your finger, I think you might be able to feel a little bit of a callus there. It should feel a little bit rough. Yeah. So that maybe gives us a hint. If we get a callus from working really hard at our writing, maybe our main character's dad gets a callus from working really hard, right? So that maybe tells us a little bit about who he is. Okay. Sometimes a Haman man is at the pond. He speaks English like my dad and likes to tell funny jokes. Sometimes there is a black man there too. He shows me his colorful lure collection. This time, it's just me and my dad. It is a little bit cold. I rub my hands together, yawn, and look up to see faint stars like freckles. Oh, I recognize this page. Is this the same as our cover? Yeah. All right. As Dad sets up in a clearing, I gather small, thin twigs for a fire. They need to be dry and clean. I count. All right, he's going to get 10 sticks. Can we count together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you for your help, everyone. And then 10 more for later. I put some rocks in a circle and set up the twigs. Like a volcano, Dad reminds me. I set one end of each twig down, the other up, leaning them in so they rest against each other and hold each other up. I get it to light with just one match. Dad nods. And look, we can see kind of what his face looks like there. Does anybody want to guess how he's feeling in this moment? Yeah, Nora. Oh, he's proud of himself. Yeah, I love that. All right. You want to put a minnow on the hook? Dad asks. So, what are they doing? I just want to double check that we all know what they're doing down at the pond. They're fishing. Yeah, okay. I want to help, but I shake my head no. I don't want to hurt that little fish, even if I know it's about to be eaten by a bigger one. My dad smiles. He isn't upset with me. Dad hands me a sandwich, cold bologna between 2 pieces of bread. Careful of the spicy stuff, he says. There's half a peppercorn, like a moon split in 2, studded into the meat. I used to fish by a pond like this, one when I was a boy in Vietnam, Dad says, biting into his sandwich. With your brother, I ask? He nods, then looks away. Dad tells me about the war, but only sometimes. He and his brother fought side by side. One day, his brother didn't come home. What do we think that means? What is our book telling us? Ben. Yeah, his brother died in the war. You're right, that is really sad. But there is something cool about the fact that even though he lost his brother, he can still exist in a way through the stories that he tells about him, right? Because even though his son has never met his uncle, or our main character's never met his uncle, he still knows about him because his dad tells him stories, and so people can live on even after they pass away, which is really special, I think. All right. The bobber dips in the dark, and Dad pulls. Got one, he says, almost shouting. A crappie, and soon another. Can I help? I ask. He nods, and I use 2 hands to help guide the fish into the bucket. The fish feels slimy and rough at the same time. Dad laughs at the funny face I make. Oh, there's 2 words on here that I really love. The fish feels slimy and rough. That kind of fits into one of our vocabulary words for the week that we have up on our list up there on the board. Slimy and rough. What do we think? Veronica. They're traits. Yeah, so we've been talking about traits, and the way the fish feels, the texture of the fish is a trait of that organism. So cool. We're going to talk a little bit more about traits today. Dad smiles, his teeth broken and white in the dark because we have a few fish and he knows we will eat tonight. Time to go home. Dad must get ready for work. He washes his hands with a small nub of green and white soap. Then I do the same. I look at the trees as we walk back to the car. I wonder what the trees look like at that other pond in the country my dad comes from. By the time we get home, the sunlight coming through the windows is just a faint tint, blue and gray instead of gold. At home, Mom looks tired, but she smiles at the fish in the big white bucket. My dad changes his clothes and gets ready to go to work. He pats me on the back and says to Mom, "Our boy did a good job with the fire today." "You learn so quickly," Mom says. Then she asks me to help with the fish before she has to go to work too. Ooh, so their whole family is pretty hard workers, huh? I'm sad that she and Dad must leave, but not too sad. I know that later on they will both come home. "Look after your baby brother," Mom reminds my brothers and sisters. She means me. Then she gets on her bike and goes to work. I'm not a baby, I think to myself. I helped catch dinner. Tonight, when we are all home, Dad will put rice in the cooker and Mom will fry the fish on both sides until they're crispy. I'll bring out the jar of fish sauce that has flecks of chili pepper and carrots floating on top. At the table, my brothers and sisters will tell funny stories. Mom will ask about their homework. Dad will nod and smile and eat with his eyes half closed. "Good fish," he will say to me, and I will smile and nod. And later, when we sleep, we will dream of fish in faraway ponds. And that is our story. I did want to show you guys this last page because we have some really special photos here. So this is our author, Bao Phi, and this is him with his father. And they are from Vietnam. They immigrated here from Vietnam. And this is Thi Bui, and this is her and her brother. So, what a special story. So, I did say, oh, I'm glad you liked it. So I did say that we were going to be talking about some traits, right? And I want to introduce us to a new vocabulary word today, which is heredity. And so heredity is when our parents pass down their traits to their kids. So I want us to think today about some of our own traits. It could be a physical trait, it could be something we're really good at, and I want us to think about maybe where we got those traits from. So I'll give you an example of my own. What color is my hair? Is it brown? Yeah, and I have brown eyes. And guess what? My mom, she has brown hair and brown eyes too. Pretty cool. And let me think of another cool trait that maybe was passed down. So my dad is a really good artist. He can draw anything. And I think I'm a pretty good artist. I think you guys have seen a little bit of my drawing, right? Yeah. So that's a trait that I got from my dad, and it's something that we share together. And maybe our main character in this story, maybe he shares some things with his father. Does anybody want to guess? Oh, I love that one. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, they look alike, right? They have the same hair color. Their faces kind of look the same. Agreed. Yeah. And let's think back to what I was talking about with the calluses. Right, they're both hard workers. Yeah. So that's so special. All right. Well, my friends, we are going to do a little pair and share now. So we're going to pair up together and talk about some of our own traits and where we got those from. And while you're doing that for 1 minute, I'm going to go get our worksheet that we're going to fill out, and we're going to talk about some traits of fish today too, okay? All right, so you have 1 minute for pair and share. Pair up with the person sitting next to you.